Morning, welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, right here on S3. Now, of course, as the year draws to a very exciting end, we do prepare ourselves for the holiday season. Of course, purchasing gifts, booking vacations for some out there, planning events, all things that lure us into that overindulgence and overspending at times. Now, it's not news that this year has been filled with steep increases in living expenses. So what can you do to make sure that you keep within your budget this December and it doesn't turn into a Ke December boss? Today, we discuss savvy spending this festive season with momfluencer and project manager Yolanda Matira, content creator and reality TV star Lulwando Tukwayo, as well as financial planner Fabio Brogneri. A very good morning and happy Monday to you all. I'm trying to judge by your faces how well this weekend went in terms of spending, and it looks like everyone remained within budget. Am I kind of summarizing it correctly by nods? All right. Lulwando, let me start off with you first. As a reality TV star, the soft life is something that you are accustomed to. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So with that in mind, do you think that part of the irresponsible spending that we sometimes see is kind of fueled by the way in which the soft life is depicted on TV?
I mean, soft life requires you to spend quite a lot of money, so yeah. And our social media and TV is just selling the soft life, and there's quite a lot of pressure as well for people to keep up with the soft life.
Yes.
So absolutely, it is. It puts pressure on not just the working class. Now, even people who are at varsity want the soft life.
Right.
So this weekend must have been really tough for
my thing is, though, is the soft life a real thing, or is it just what the producers put on TV?
The soft life is a real thing. What do you mean?
So people are living soft out there.
Teach us soft out there.
We want to be. We also want.
Those trips to Dubai don't just.
Okay, well, Fabio, obviously this comes with a little bit of a kind of being financially savvy, which is where someone like you then comes in when it comes to a time like the silly season, as we call it, because that's what it is. It represents just whip out the card, tap, swipe everywhere where you can. But what do you think is the driving force behind this exorbitant spending at this time of the year after what's been quite a laborious year, right?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you can feel the energy in the air is different this time of year as well.
Right.
You know, people are getting geared up to go on holiday. Kids are going to be going on holidays.
It's here by September where we start.
Exactly. So I think, I mean, all the stars are really aligned at this time of year to be spending a lot of money. You know, people are getting, like you said, geared up to go on vacation. It's the season of gifts as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I think.
There are many factors that contribute to that. And of course, Yolanda, you'd relate to that as well, being quite an accomplished mum. Of course, family, that's where we're talking about the gifting season comes in. How do you go about ensuring that during the festive season you keep within your budget, and what role does money play within your family?
Well, it's the magic, to be quite honest. We travel a lot. For me, it's not a festive season if I'm not in the Eastern Cape. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
So we are at different parts of the country, so which means we travel to the Eastern Cape. There's a lot of celebrations. We see weddings in this time, imigidi, where boys are becoming men, you know. So obviously there's a lot of food. There's a lot of traveling, gifts, kids playing around with bowls of meat. So it's quite a celebration, and I think it's catching up as a family as well, being surrounded with love. So money is the magic that makes it happen.
Oh my goodness, Lulwando. So then, how then do we stop that trajectory of going overboard where January is going to be a January? What are some of your tips in terms of, yes, you're pursuing the soft life a little bit, but keep it here?
I mean, I'm sure my husband is watching this.
Let's hear what wife is going to say.
Exactly. Well, I do believe in budgeting. I'm a professional accountant. I mean, I'm a qualified accountant at heart. I mean, I might not practice anymore, but I do believe in budgeting and just having that limit. But it's kind of hard. I am a mom and I have 3 kids. You go shopping for yourself. You end up buying a ton of things for your kids instead of yourself. And you always go over budget, but
budgeting
it's just budgeting,
magic word, right?
Yeah.
Yolanda, what's your magic tip, if you will, from a money point of view?
I think for me, what has worked is having like a list because I can get easily disrupted. So having a list, doing my research in terms of what do I need at home? You know, what are the pressing things? So sticking to that budget, you can fumble, but it really does help.
Fabio, what's your tip?
Yeah, I think those are amazing tips as well. And for me, I think the easiest way to go about it is to save before you spend.
Save
Yes.
before you spend. I absolutely love that. That makes absolute sense. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Although it is Cyber Monday, but you heard it here first. Budget, list, save before you spend. And hopefully that'll guide you into an easygoing January.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here on S3. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully the weekend hasn't tapped your bank out too much in terms of what was happening. Black Friday, of course, was all the rage. But we're back again with our discussion about savvy spending this festive season. Now, did you know that the average South African household spends about half of their budget on food and refreshments over the December period alone, which leaves very little room for entertainment and gifts, not to mention, of course, other living expenses too. But fortunately, there are ways to ensure that you cover all of your expenses and still have a little bit of cash to spare to make holidays super special. And our panel is here to help us out with that. We're joined by Momfluencer and project manager Yolanda Madira, content creator and reality TV star Luluando Tukwayo, as well as financial planner Fabio Bronieri. We've also, of course, gotten some of your voice notes out there. Jody sent us one. Let's have a listen to what Jody has to say.
Good morning, guys. I've been saving since January month, so I'm pretty savvy with my money, and I have no worries using my bonus money for anything because I've been saving since January month.
So Jody says she's been saving since January. So when it comes to December, soft life is a real thing because she's been managing budgets. But maybe that is the key, right? You start nice and early and you put aside a little bit every single month, like you said, saving first for the end of the year. When it comes to this time, then you can do it kind of guilt-free, if you will. But Yolanda, let's talk about something that I think is very familiar to those of us who come from black communities, black tax, as it's called. I don't even know if there's a modern-day term for that. That kind of is different, right? How do we, what part of your budget should be allocated to that, if at all?
Yeah. Also, I think I share the same sentiments in terms of I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with the term black tax.
Right, yeah.
I mean, as a black woman, I come from a family whereby my mom's a big giver.
Yes.
In terms of, so I still practice the same values as well.
Right.
Be it my family, my sisters, in terms of making sure that there's something that I put aside. Obviously, creating a boundary for myself and communicating that as well in terms of how far I can stretch, how far my budget can, being honest with myself. So, I mean, it's a time whereby you buy gifts, you know, for the kids, for family. So put aside, but be honest with yourself. Create
like
healthy boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge you quickly.
Yes.
What would you change that term to?
Okay, probably after my guess.
Okay, let's
I don't know.
have a bit of a, let's try and find a
Okay,
solution.
I think I know gratitude giving. Something around,
Gratitude
yes.
giving. I like
along the
that.
lines.
I like. Lulanda, would you agree with that?
Gratitude.
Giving. I'll leave you on ice for that, to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Right? Fabio, a 13th check isn't always available for most South Africans out there. Only those, I guess, in certain career lanes would that be an option in terms of payout at the end of the year. So with that in mind, and what we're talking about right now, having to contribute to families in such large sums of money, would you advise things like incurring debt, maybe maxing out the credit card? How far should you stretch that side of things?
Definitely not. I think, firstly, debt is not something that should be taken out to fund anyone else's expenses, first and foremost.
Right.
And debt you should be very careful and conscious about taking on debt, especially this time of year. One of the big credit bureaus did an analysis a year or two back, and they said majority of the new credit applications are actually coming in November, December period. And it's taking them 6 months to just pay off that debt.
Wow.
Just carrying them way into the new year. And that's a huge burden to carry into...
Wow. Maybe that's part of the result or one of the factors that's contributing to the burnout at this time of the year. You've been carrying this debt all the way into the middle of the year. Then you only find time to breathe. And then by the time you start breathing, hey, it's time to plan for December already. That cycle has spun over. And, you know, we love them. but our children certainly are sometimes a contributing factor to that. I know I'm guilty of the fact that whenever I just think about my son, I'm like, well, whatever he wants, whatever you want, okay? So, Lulonda, how then do we go about managing the expectations of our children so that, I think, also very importantly, so that they understand the value of money? It doesn't, as they say, grow on trees, although technically it does because it's made from paper.
I mean, you know, where we come from, we didn't grow up with a lot of toys and all these things. So sometimes you overcompensate as a parent. Like, I want to give my kids what I couldn't have. And it's very important to have boundaries and also for them not to be just spoiled brats and I can just snap my fingers and my parents are going to do it for me. So for me, it's just teaching my kids the value of money. So for every chore in the house, they get something. They've got their own savings. They've got their own money. For example, they lose quite a lot of school uniform and I cannot keep up with that. So every time they lose a jacket, I take it from their own money because I have to buy a new one.
I like that.
Yes.
You might be solving so many problems right now. Okay, all right. By the way, have you come up with a term? We said there's an appreciation gifting. Is that what we said?
It's with boundaries.
Gratitude gifting.
Yes.
Gratitude gifting. It's not black tax, it's gratitude gifting with boundaries.
I mean, look, so my mother always had a stokvel, right?
Right.
To compensate for such, the gratitude. So I think gratitude is a good word because if you have a stokvel to carry you for the December period, for the extra monies that you need to spend on your family, that stokvel money won't feel like a burden. It won't feel like tax. It will really feel like you're giving. So I'm with you, Yolanda.
Let's go. I love that. As long as it falls within the budget,
Yes.
it's on the list,
Yeah.
and you've saved
Yeah.
first. Do send us those voice notes in terms of how you go about ensuring that you don't overspend during this festive season to 063 408 8863.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Happy Monday. Listen, we're back again with our discussion regarding savvy spending this festive season. And I'm joined again by Momfluence and Project Manager Yolanda Matira, content creator and reality TV star Lulwando Tukwayo, as well as financial planner Fabio Bronieri. We were having a good laugh just now during the ad break because I asked Yolanda, and I'm going to ask her again, are you the rich aunt when you go back home?
No, I'm not. Anybody's watching? Anyone is watching?
No, you said. Oh, my word. I can't believe it. Anyway, it's a state of mind being the rich aunt. We wanted to know your thoughts on how you curb your crazy spending during this festive season via voice note. Let's hear from Sharon. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Sharon from Nelspruit. To budget for a festive season, I would say that, you know what, you start in the beginning of the year and you save up every month, you put away a certain amount. So at the end of the year, with the festive season, you know you've got that money kept aside for your festive season and for your kids or whatever you want to do. And also try and teach your children how to save. If you do give them an allowance, let them save a certain amount from there every month. And that's how they're going to learn how to save as they grow up. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. I absolutely love that. What do you make of that game plan, Fabio? Do you agree with it? Do you have something to add to it in terms of how do we ensure that we don't have that overboard impulsive spending that could end us in trouble in January?
Exactly. I think it just takes a bit of planning.
Okay.
So I definitely agree with that. Try and build up the year and save what you can during the year. And what they touched on earlier, I know it's super boring, but make lists and make a budget because planning can go a long way.
But take me through that. If we were to envisage a game plan, right? We're planning for the future, but we're trying to apply it now. How much of your budget should you be putting aside as the savings, as Sharon said, putting aside money for the festive season? So your salary comes in, 25th of the month, bing, bing. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think everyone's got different spending habits, different priorities. So I think everyone should be saving at least 15% of their salary.
15.
As their salary hits their bank account. That shouldn't all be used for the end of year spending. But a portion of that can definitely be used to treat yourself at the end of the year.
Yeah. But then, of course, you walk into the mall, Fabio. And then Rolando, hey, we know. Flashing lights, bam, 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 grabbing your attention. You need this, you need that. You understand
I like
that?
it.
Hey,
Buy it.
oh, I want it, I like it, I buy it. How do we stop ourselves from falling victim to that when you
I'm
enter
probably
this
the
dreaded...
wrong person to answer.
Well, this is exactly why I chose to
feel so
ask you, to put you on the
guilty.
spot. To put you on the
I
spot.
feel so guilty because
But you understand how that the communication works, because you're a brand ambassador, you're a businesswoman in that way, you understand that side of things and how marketing works.
absolutely, yeah. Marketing, it just makes you want to go for
I
it.
can hear how it's making you nervous right now.
There's a certain bag that I want, you know, and I just can't, can't help myself.
So basically, the point of that question was so that you see how not to be like Lulwana when you're walking into there. I think that's exactly where the lists come in. And of course, you can even have a list of those things that you desire, right? And when it comes to that crunch time, you reflect on, well, was this even part of what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
Let's hear another voice note from Shirley. Good morning.
Good morning, Expresso. My family were brought up with the philosophy of if you don't have the money for it, you can't have it. So therefore you have to save for it. You do not have it on credit and you do not have it on account. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yolanda, would you agree with that?
Yes, say if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it.
Ooh, wait. I think somebody make notes. Say that again.
If you can't buy it twice, then you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So
Why would you say that? Why the twice thing?
in terms of, you probably would have money if you'd buy it twice, so you can't spend money you don't have. So if you wouldn't go back and buy it again, you probably need to work on your money game.
That has just changed my philosophy quite a lot. And then, of course, Fabio, if you do have a couple of rand to invest, to save, what are we saving in? What are we investing in?
Yeah, so again, it's going to be different for everyone. I think when it comes to financial planning, you want to have the right foundations in place first. You want to build a strong plan, and really the first thing you need to do is make sure you have a good rainy day fund. So that those surprise expenses that do come in, you've got enough money to pay for them and you're not dipping into credit cards and getting into debt. So that's the first place I would look. And then the government's given us some great vehicles from a tax perspective to utilize, like our tax-free savings, retirement vehicles. So those I would utilize for more of a longer-term view.
Loving that advice as well. As my grandmother once said, "Piri urile khabose gangwe," as in tomorrow is another day. But that, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it.
That's a whole...
Take that into your 2023. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.